Business Brain, episode 627 for Casual Friday, February 28th, National Chocolate Souffle Day 2025. Music right away.
It's amazing. Like we've done it before.
Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where you send in ideas, we come up with ideas, we then dissect them, we discuss them, we use them to tune our business brains so that we can each keep on living those charmed lives that we love so much. Here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And I'm still out here in Northern California. I'm Shannon Jean.
Yeah.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, man. Yep.
Yeah.
Another week, another month.
Yes. That's right. The start of another month. February's been interesting.
Yeah, I'm happy to say goodbye to February. I don't know why. It's not been great.
Yeah. There's been highs and lows, but it's getting stuff done.
I've had more lows than highs, but that's okay. It's fine. It's not a complaint. It's an acknowledgement.
No way to get away from it.
We're all human. It's totally fine. I'm okay. Yep. Just didn't want to make it. I don't usually complain or even do anything that's other than being overly positive on this show. So I just want to make it.
It's the highs and lows of entrepreneurship. It's like
that's how it is.
It's a roller coaster. It's like one day you're just killing it and everything's going great, and the next day you're just like, how can I continue? Will I still be in business tomorrow? I've been there so many times, and I still, after all these years of feeling that way and doing, I still, when I'm at the bottom of the roller coaster, I'm still just like, man, how am I? How am I going to get back up? It's going to be this way. How's it going to? Am I going to feel this way for? This is it now.
I can't. Yeah.
How am I going to continue? And then, sure enough, something will happen, and I'll just be like, "Woohoo! I'm back."
That's it. I know.
So stupid.
I know. I heard myself utter last week or something like, God, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah, I know. It's like, here we go.
And it's like,
so funny.
Wait, I've said that a few times before.
Yes,
yes,
we have.
I resemble that remark.
Yes. Yeah, that's great. Hey, I want to talk about automation, but I also want to talk about our Friday AI topic. Or FridAI.
FridAI. Yeah, sure.
What do you want to do first? Do you want to do the
No,
AI?
I want to hear about this over-automating thing.
Okay. So I have a thesis here to sound fancy. I always try before I automate something, I want to do it manually so I understand it completely. And
same.
Yeah, because I think that you put your own fingerprint or your own special sauce and stuff on it. That's why the subtitle for this topic was Losing the Dave-ness, because we talked about last night, you could say your name in there, replace Dave-ness,
sure.
but losing the you part of it. And if you don't understand how to do it manually at first, I don't know how long you have to do it, but if you don't do it enough times, put in the reps so you understand the process and you put your fingerprint on it, so to speak, before you automate it, I feel like it's often soulless, and it certainly doesn't have your soul in it. And maybe I'm just old school and I have more gray hair than, these AI kids that are up and coming and just, doing amazing things. That could be. But I don't think it's a get off my lawn comment. I think it's it's valuable to me because I don't know. I don't know how else I would do it if I didn't kind of jump in, to figure it out first. And then once I figured out, then I'm like, okay, how do I streamline this? How do I automate it? How can I use, what service can I use? Can I use ChatGPT? Do I have to use, what's the
Zapier.
Zapier to connect these things together. But if I don't have that manual time with it, if I don't massage it, if I'm not frustrated with it, if I don't learn it inside and out, maybe I don't even know how to automate it until I dive into that.
That's it. I'm the same way. I will start with, I'm thinking of the system that we here at Backbeat Media call Podman, which is short for Podcast Management System, which is the whole thing that tracks what episodes are going to go live for every single one of our shows, what ads are in those episodes, how much the shows are going to make. Then once the ad goes live, did it go and what are the timestamps on it. And then now the system will like automatically pull the audio of the ads so that we can send that along to the sponsor and all the things, right? When we started representing podcasts here, we did not have that system. There was no third-party system to just buy. And so we started with a series of Google Sheets.
That's funny.
That were shared.
Sense.
Yeah, we could all see them internally, and then each sheet would be shared with the podcasters of the hosts of any given show. And it was fine. It was super tedious, obviously. But it allowed us to learn what we needed to do to make this work. And it was tedious, but it was informative. And I didn't even know
phrase.
Yeah, I didn't even know where it was going to go from there. And you said, I don't know how long you have to do it before you automate it. I would posit that you will know. You'll get to a point where you're no longer iterating every week on the system, right? Like, we started the spreadsheets. It was like, oh, we need another column for this.
Becomes routine. Over and over.
We're just doing it, and now it's actually tedious. It's not like we're building the widget. We're just using the widget, and it turns out this is a crappy way to use this particular widget, right?
Yeah,
like you get to that point, and then you build the thing. Now with Podman, I hadn't even gotten to the point consciously where I was like, oh, we need to do this. I remember when the idea for Podman came to me, I had just gone and spent an hour in the flotation tank where my mind is free of all thought if I do it successfully. And I did that day, but it was about an hour away, this particular tank. And so I was driving home, and I had learned by that point to not have any music or anything on for the ride home, because as my brain sort of comes back online, there's some really good ideas that occasionally percolate out. And that was one of them. It was like, wait, we need to build a database and do this way. And I saw the whole thing, and I took a voice memo and sent it to Adam, and who coded it all up. And now that's the thing we run our whole business on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And one nice part about doing it the hard way first, I mean, there's many of them. One is that you learn what you really want out of something, is that even still today, I appreciate Podman because I remember what it was like before, even though it's been 10 years.
Exactly. It's the same. And I think you can take that analogy to just about anything. Yeah. Because like I know when I'm talking to people and they're interested in doing some business or whatever, and I'm trying to give them some advice, if their focus is on, I don't want to get my hands dirty, I want to hire somebody to do all this, I want to automate all these things, I always say, hey, you're just not going to know it unless you kind of get your hands dirty a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that you're ready to go and you want to hire people and you want to do all this, automation and systems. That's great. That's how you scale it.
Yes.
But if you just like bypass all that stuff, I would, to use your fancy word, posit. I would posit that your chances of success are lower because you don't understand all the like back office stuff that requires it. Like, I think that's it was such a powerful way for me to learn so much about business. Was just like, okay, well, let me just be a craftsman here for a little while. Let me just touch it and let me move it and let me sell it and let me get feedback from the people I'm selling it to. And then once I had it in my brain, okay, well, first off, can we buy this product and make money? Right? First. And how hard is it to manage? Because if you walk out in your warehouse, this is just my world.
Yeah, your experience.
If you walk out in the warehouse and yell at these guys, hey, why aren't you getting this stuff done faster? Well, if you don't know what it takes to manage that inventory, or if you don't know what it takes to work in your shipping department, you're just blind. You don't know that. What are the resources required to ship 100 orders a day versus, now we're shipping 200 orders a day. And wait, why can't they get them out? Well, you have to get in there and
you got to do it. And sometimes you don't need to build it yourself. Sometimes you will do it. Yeah. You will do it the hard way and then realize someone else has built a solution that solves, if it solves 80% of what you want, and you can customize the remaining 10%, but not the final 10%, that's close enough.
I agree.
Like, you don't have to build it yourself. And I'm saying this mostly to me, but if anybody else is listening, that's fine.
I have the same problem. Let's build some custom software.
Yeah. Oh, my whole life has been building custom software. And then not being smart enough to sell that. Talk about being in the picks and shovels business.
Right. Yeah.
I literally,
it's a different skill set.
From scratch, I built what might have been the first content management system ever. Yeah. And content management system is a fancy set of words to describe what WordPress is. I built one long before WordPress was even a twinkle in Matt Mullenweg's eye. Yeah. But Matt was smarter than me because he took his and made it a viable product for other people to use as opposed to just use dog food it in your own business. And now he gets his own private island, and I don't get that. Because at least not yet.
It's coming.
It's fine.
It's coming. Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah, it's coming. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I'll earn it eventually.
So let us know if you think I'm wrong, if I'm right, or if you have other examples that we could talk about. Is it, how do you do it that way? Do you get your hands on it, or do you just like, no, Shannon, you're thinking old school. I just go in and do this and do that. I'd love to hear.
I'd love to know.
Yeah, feedback@businessbrain.show.
And the word posit was introduced. I mean, I'd probably heard it before I heard Walter Bishop on Fringe say it. But Walter Bishop on Fringe said it years ago, and it stuck in my head. He always reminded me of my grandfather. And if you know about Walter Bishop on Fringe, now you understand my grandfather, and it's going to make you go, oh, I see. But yeah, he said that word, and it was like, oh, I like that word.
Positive. Yeah.
FridAI time, Shannon.
FridAI.
You want to go first, or you want me to?
I'll go first. Yeah,
okay.
Sure. Anytime anybody offers that, I'm taking it.
Yep. Smart man.
Yeah. So I use this tool this week. It's called Napkin.AI. Spelled just like the napkin that you have.
Sure.
And it does a few things very, very well, which I really like. And the main thing I use it for is I write a lot, but I always look at other people's stuff, like their content, and they have these awesome graphs and illustrations in there. And I'm like, how do they make that? That's totally cool. And I don't know how to make that stuff. I'm not good. Stuff that looks like somebody drew it with a pen. That's really cool.
Sure.
Well, now I can take my content, cut and paste it into Napkin.AI, and it grabs data out of whatever I wrote about. Doesn't have to even have numbers in it. And it creates these amazing graphs that and images that you can put with your content. I love it. And if you're watching the live stream, which you probably aren't, but there's a...
But you can go watch this on YouTube. We push this out to YouTube, so you can watch it after the fact too.
Perfect. Yeah. Go look on YouTube and you can see it. I wrote this article called Focus on Average Sale Price, about increasing the price of every single thing you sell so you can make more and sell less. And this is what I just cut and pasted in a bunch of text, and this is what Napkin.AI, spit back out in about 10 seconds. And it just makes me look way smarter than I am. And
this turns it into like a PDF, white paper, pitch paper, whatever you want.
Exactly. And I just think it's great. And when you're working with it, you can hover over the graphic and it'll offer you 20 other choices of different kinds of graphics that you could change it to. I think if you click that, it might. I don't know.
It's not letting me click it, but it might let you click it. Yeah. That's cool, man.
I'm the author. Yeah. So it's just got in it, it just does it really well. And I don't pay anything for it. I'm sure they have an upper level tier, but I'm able to download this or share it, collaborate like I did with you, Dave, or save it as a PDF. So check it out, Napkin.AI.
Amazing. Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
I love that. Huh.
Yep. How about you, Dave? What are you doing with AI this week?
I was on a phone call with someone who's essentially a competitor. It was actually somebody who used to work for me and went off and started his own agency and is doing great. And we're still friends. We still talk all the time, and we share data with specific pieces of data with each other about like, hey, this person's buying a lot, you should talk to them, or this person moved, you should talk to them. Like it's fine. We're we compete with each other, but that's not really where we compete. Like there's plenty of money to go around, like all those things. So I was on the phone with him today, in fact, and we were talking about one thing and that he needed my help with, and then he just started like, oh, you should talk to this person, doing the thing that we do.
Sure.
And I started taking notes. I didn't think I was going to need to take notes. So
this was a phone call?
This was a actual phone call.
Got it. Okay.
I didn't think I needed to take notes, so I didn't prepare a notepad ahead of time. And I was walking around my office as I do when I'm on the phone so that I'm not distracted, as we talked about, I think, in the pre-show. And so the only thing that I had to easily take notes on was my quartet glass screen, glass whiteboard that I have. It's about the size of my keyboard. It's rectangular. It sits between my keyboard and the computer. And so I grabbed the dry erase marker and started writing. And, dry erase markers are pretty thick tipped. And so I'm writing and trying to squeeze things into corners because there was lots of data being thrown around.
Yep.
And I finished the call and took some action items on a few of the things that were like obvious instant things. And I looked at one thing in the corner and I was like, what the heck did I write here? I cannot. And I kept looking at it and I'm like, I know it's going to come to me. I know, I know what I wrote made sense in the moment. But I just can't read my writing because it's, fat marker trying to squeeze into a corner. Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally I was like, oh man, it was like 20 minutes before we were going to record here. I was like, I don't know that I'm going to remember this. Like time is passing and it's not coming to me. It's going to drift away. And so I took a picture of not just it, but it and the two things above it and said to ChatGPT, I can't read my own handwriting.
Wow.
Can you help? And the first pass at it was wrong.
Okay.
And again, I did not, to your point earlier on, I did not give up when it couldn't tell me what I wrote. And I said, all right, nope, here's what I know. So I started collaborating with it. And I think that's an important lesson with AI. If you want to collaborate with the AI, it's on you to initiate that collaboration. Rarely does it give you an answer and say, do you have any feedback for me? Sometimes. It depends on how you prompt it.
Yeah.
But in this case, it was like, I think that's what you said. It's like, there's no freaking way that's what it said. And so I said, no, that's not it. Try again. And it did. And it was like, no. And I said, all right, let me help a little more. There were two words. And I'm like, the first four letters of the bottom word, I think, are these four letters. Like, I know my own handwriting. And so I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's what I wrote, but it just doesn't make any sense. And immediately it was like, oh, I think what you wrote was this. I was like, oh my gosh, yes.
That was
100%. That's it.
And you remembered it.
And it got it. Like, I mean, it wasn't even close. It was spot on by that point. And, I mean, like we talked about on Wednesday, don't give up. Keep going, push a little bit. And that's especially true with AI. That the T in that is the transformative part. You get to change the results by poking and prodding at the engine. And don't just make it ChatGPT. Use the T. Yeah. Like, you got to use the T.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah, you have to get it. And
it saved my butt. This is a client that will probably wind up spending a bunch of money with us in March now that I know to reach out to them. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. Yeah, it's great. So many great things, so many new little tips and all that stuff I'm excited about. I was excited to hear Apple announced today when we were recording this, they're spending like $500 billion building a new AI server location or something. That's $500 billion.
Yeah, it's a lot of freaking money. I hope they get it right because they haven't yet.
No,
and
they have not.
Apple rarely tells us where they're going to spend their money.
Yeah.
They usually tell us, here's a thing we spent. Well, they are so far behind the eight ball in the public eye on AI that they have to say that they're going to be there someday. And to be fair, Apple has a track record, a little bit of not being the first, but being the best.
Yeah, that's true. That's great.
So
Yep.
I think
Let us
they're
know.
trading on
Yeah.
that track record.
I
We'll
think so,
see if
too.
they deliver.
Yeah. Yeah. If you have any AI tips for us that you'd like featured in our FridAI segment, let us know. Feedback@businessbrain.show. And remember, if you leave us a review, you get entered in to win a new MacBook that we're giving away. Businessbrain.show/reviews. We'll get you there, and then follow up and tell us you left one so we can get your info.
Yes. And you can send other things to feedback@businessbrain.show, and we'll read those on the show. We'll answer your questions. We'll do all the things because it's what we do. We're going to be here next week, it turns out.
We are.
So
10 more years.
That's right. 10 more years. We'll see you then. Have a great weekend. Keep living that charmed life.